Hey guys, Ed here, bringing you part 19 of What If Deku Was the Familiar of Zero. And as you can see from the title, yes, this is the final part for this series. That said, I have an announcement to make at the end of the video, so see you then. That said, let's get into it. Fearless. Where we last left off, after Future Katsuki told the heroes on their impending doom, he made sure that everything would play out exactly as he remembered. And as he tried not to change everything, managing to successfully make 5 more quirk erasing bullets with Aries' reluctant help, and then November 3rd came. As most of the events panned out similarly to part 17, including bringing the same people from Tristane, when it came to Class 1A's performance, the civilians there were in reality pros in disguise, and then the attack came, and chaos was everywhere. Instead of frightened civilians, the villains were met with pros ready to fight. As the pro heroes throw their disguise off, the villains were caught off guard, and the leader of the villains revealed himself. All for one would say, well, that's a bit surprising. There are no civilians. No matter. I'll dispose of you regardless. All for one gave the order to attack, and the battle between villains and heroes commenced. But a fist flew directly to the leader, and after the dust settled, All Might was standing with All for One with their fist clashing. All Might would say, "Not so fast." All for One would say, "All Might, what a surprise. You're still standing after that injury." All Might would say, "You underestimate me, All for One. And it seems you have a new body." All for One would say, "Yes, All Might. And the body used to belong to Tanko Shimura, your master's grandson." All Might would say, "What a shame, really. He could have become a fine hero." All for One was confused, and he would say, "Wait, you aren't the least surprised that I took your master's flesh and blood?" All Might would say, "Well, let's just say the past is the past, and it must be left behind, just like you and I, and we should let the next generation take over, which is why he will be the one to take you down." All Might managed to punch All for One into the sky, while All for One was confused. All Might would say, "Bakugo, Todoroki, make sure that nobody from the villain's side interferes. Students, pros, let's give them hell." As the pros worked alongside the hero students, the support course, alongside Power Loader and Principal Nezu, assisted in long range, while the people from Tristane took down the small fry, and making sure to keep them from passing that line, while Izuku took care of All for One. All for One would say, "Color me impressed, Izuku Midoriya." Izuku would say, "It's Gandalf to you, All for One." Delph would say, "And don't forget about me. I'm Delflinger. My partner and I will teach you a lesson that you'll never forget." All for One would say, "Ah yes, the talking sword." So rumors of magic actually existing were true. Izuku would say, "Yeah, they're as true as Yoga Aoyama working for you." All for One would say, "I'm impressed. What gave him away?" Izuku would say, "Well, didn't you know magicians don't reveal their tricks? But if you must know, we had some insight. And just like you, your doctor will share your fate." All for One was confused, and then realized that Izuku knew about the bases. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Hawks, Endeavor, Future Bakugo were surrounding all the hospitals involved with Dr. Uchiko's experiments, as they made sure to kill the doctor. Others, led by Sir Night-Eye, Best Genus, and Mount Lady, were at the warehouse that held Nomus, and they were dealt with before they had the chance to be activated. Back at the main fight, Izuku would say, "Well, with that being the case, why don't you do something?" Izuku got a glove from his pocket and threw it at All for One's face with 10% of One for All. grazing his cheek in the process. Izuku would say, "Are you going to refuse, or will you accept my challenge?" All for one amused, he would say, "Challenge me to a duel? Well, don't mind if I do." The fight between All for One and Izuku raged on, into the sky. And then once they were both in close range, Izuku woke up to a place that he knew all too well. It was the Vestige World. And in front of him was All for One, while behind him were the vestiges of the quirks he's stolen over the years. All for One would say, "What's wrong? I thought you said that you wanted to challenge me." Izuku felt intimidated by the many quirks, but Louise's spirit placed a hand on his shoulder as she would say, "Izuku, you're not alone. Look behind you." As soon as she said that, her spirit vanished, and in its place were the previous users of One for All. Izuku knew that he could do it, and then the rune of Gandalf on Izuku's hand glowed brighter. The Vestige World dissipated, and All for One felt threatened. All for One would say, "How? Is this fear I feel? Impossible." But as All for One looked at Izuku, he could see the previous users by his side, supporting him. Izuku would say, "This ends here, All for One." All for One, scared, would say, "This can't be." Izuku drew Delph from his scabbard, and he would say, "Are you ready?" The two started to clash, and every blow they dealt, the city below almost felt it. There were villains trying to interfere, but Baku and Todoroki, and All Might, were making sure that it wouldn't happen. All for One was getting desperate, and he tried to use one of his quirks, but he found that he couldn't, because of Aizawa using his quirk on him. And then Izuku kicked him to the ground, and he used Black Whip to latch onto him and pull All for One towards him. And then Izuku stabbed All for One in his chest. And then Izuku used his quirk to speed towards the ground and dealt more damage to All for One. Izuku would say, "How does it feel to hit rock bottom?" All for One, chuckling and coughing blood, he would say, "You're just like All Might, unable to finish the job. And even if you did get rid of me, what would happen once I'm gone? There's gonna be a gap in the underground. And there are many willing to take my place." Izuku would say, "Well, for starters, between then and now, there's no doubt that villains might take your place. But by then, there will be heroes strong enough to prevent that. And by the way, did Aoyama tell you what happened the last time someone said I couldn't finish the job?" All for One was confused, and he suddenly felt a cold steel pierce his head. And then, All for One was gone. Izuku would say, "Goodbye, All for One." Delph would say, "Well, partner, you did it." Izuku would say, "Yep. Now let's tell the others." We cut over to Future Katsuki's group, and they would say, "That Gigantomachia guy was subdued rather easily." Hawks would say, "What's wrong with you, Katsuki?" Katsuki, fading in and out, he would say, "I guess we won." And they would say, "What? What's going to happen to you?" Katsuki would say, "Well, time has been altered, and my future is being erased, as well as me and the two idiots. Endeavor, do me a favor." And they would say, "What is it?" Katsuki would say, "Give this to my past self." But before Endeavor could say anything, Future Katsuki faded into nothingness. We cut over to Louise and the future twins. Nori and Sora looked at each other only to see that the two of them were turning transparent. Louise would say, "Nori, Sora, what's going on?" Sora would say, "I guess Dad did it. He defeated the bad guy." And Nori would say, "Sora, but I don't want to disappear." Sora would say, "Nori, remember what Uncle Katsuki said?" Nori would say, "I know, but I wanted more time with Mom." Sora would say, "You think you're the only one?" Louise, hugging the both of them, she would say, "I'll make sure that you'll have a lot of time with me and your father." and it won't be just the two of you. The twins smiled. Before they could say anything, they too vanished into nothingness. The villains saw Izuku standing with Delph drawn, looking at the villains. Izuku shouting, he would say, "Your leader is dead. Now surrender or meet the same fate." Most of the villains surrendered, but then Muscular shows up and tries to attack Izuku. But Izuku simply cut off his head, shocking everyone else. Izuku would say, "Anyone else?" Toga tried, but Izuku again sliced her head clean off. Izuku would say, again, "Is there anyone else?" But this time, the villains surrendered, and the heroes arrested them. Izuku went to relax in Nezu's office alongside Louise, while the rest of the students were continuing with the cleanup. Aoyama and his family were also arrested. Several weeks later, Izuku got all he needed from the support course. Mr. Colbert learned a lot in electricity. Henrietta learned a lot in politics from Nezu. Bakugo read the letter his future self left for him, and he and Luciana are together as an official couple. Saito got his sights around this Japan and showing Tifa. Agnes learned some stuff from Aizawa. Inko and All Might revealed their relationship, and now Izuku and Louise had to say goodbye to their classmates. Katsuki would say, "Is this what you want?" Izuku would say, "Yep, Katsuki." Katsuki would say, "You better come and visit." Izuku would say, "Don't worry, Kachan, I'll visit. But I guess next time you'll see me, I'll probably be older." Katsuki would say, "Oh yeah? But I'll be stronger." Izuku would say, "Well everyone, Aizawa, All Might, Nezu, friends, I thank you. Especially you, All Might. Without you, Louise and I would never have met. So I ask you one thing." All Might look a bit confused, and Izuku continued. He would say, "Take care of my mom for me, would you?" All Might would say, "I will, but before anything, there is someone that wants to say something." Izuku looked puzzled, and Inko appeared from behind All Might, as she would say, "Izuku? I'll miss you." Izuku would say, "Mom, don't worry, I'll come and visit, and then you guys can come over, and so it's not like we're gonna not see each other again." Inko would say, "Louise, take care of my Izuku for me, would you?" Louise would say, "Of course I will. Besides, we got stuff to do and twins to take care of." Louise made the portal, and as the others went in, Izuku looked behind, smiling to himself. Then he picked up Louise bridal style and passed through the portal as they waved goodbye. The end. With that, folks, this series is completed. It's been a journey. It started with me writing it for Alexis 2400 in the old channel, and now I finished it. I have 2 series in mind that might replace this one, but I'll be doing a poll later to decide which one. And one will be the one that's replacing it, and the other one I'll delete. Check out the community tab for the poll in question. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for more. Turn on the bell notification to be updated so you never miss a video. That said, peace out.